So now on the track we have heat 3, and it is Rachel and Rebecca. Rachel 15.8, Rebecca 16.1, so about 0.3 between these two in qualifying. Rachel in the blue and Rebecca in the black. Come around to get the bell, which is oftentimes a signal to go. People hear the bell and they jump just by reflex. Sure enough,
speaking of which,
that's where it happens. But coincidentally on this track, that's often where it's a good place to make a move. Side by side around turn 1, through turn 2. Rebecca trying to get around Rachel. Rachel just holding her on her hip. Rachel at the moment holding Rebecca on her hip as they come into turn 3. Just starts to pick up the distance now and get away from her. So it looks like Rachel's going to take this one out. And Rachel just a bit too quick for Rebecca, so Rachel gets that one. Jennifer will have to make a move to come past her at some point. She's to win the race, obviously. The question is, when will she do it? And will she try and make it go long or short? Who knows? Last time these two raced, from memory, Jane jumped early and took Jennifer a bit by surprise. Pace just starting to pick up now, seated acceleration from Jane, Jennifer matching it. Holding up on her hip, no opportunity to duck underneath at this point. Jennifer will have to go the long way around. Jane just opening up the door there a little bit, but Jennifer unlikely to take it. Doesn't take it. Jane drops down. Jennifer, with a little feint, drops down into the lane, but swings up again, Jane covering it. Will they do it again as they come into turn 3? The opportunity is still there. Jane not doing a terribly close press on Jen and now giving her the chance to duck under, and she takes it. Jane drops into the lane, but she'll have to move up to let Jennifer through because Jen had the lane there. Now Jane will have to chase. The winner of this race, I think, will go through into the race for the first place in B grade. Jane has Jen's wheel, comes off, tries to give herself a little bit of room to get past her. She's got to do a tower work down that back straight if she's to get around. She was quicker in qualifying. Has she got the speed to come past? Jennifer holding her off, coming through turn 3 into turn 4. Jane with a little bit more speed. Can she get the run off the bank and get her through to the finish? They're side by side now as they come past the pursuit line. Who's going to get this one? Jane throws for the wrong line again. That's the James Down Award.
Yep.
We're not sure who got that one.
On you, mate.
So we think Jennifer got that. Okay, so in D grade we have 3 riders on 9 points and 1 rider on 15. So Rachel Swain's won clean through into the final. By virtue of flying 200 times, Jane will race against Rachel for first, and Rebecca and Jennifer will race for third place. You see how important flying 200s are. Now, on the track, and they've taken off early, these girls need to get out of the way real quick. Jennifer and Jane, get out of the way. Jennifer and Jane, get out of the way. Thank you.
Cheapest.
The time the dawdle is not here. Now, we have Benny Schofield being chased by Sam Gallagher. Ben's on a big gear. Poor little Sam's on that 5.5 metre rollout. He rode a bloody good flying 200 times, so we had to put him into this grade. But unfortunately, he's going to struggle against the big guys on the big gears. But he will get lots of cadence training and lots of practice. Unfortunately, he's not going to be able to pull Ben back. The advantages of the big gear over longer distances, they're plain to see. And Benny Schofield taking that one by a comfortable margin in the end. Courageous riding today from Sam. He's 11 and he's been racing against seniors on big gears and he's done a pretty good job, but it's a hell of an art.
What if it's sugar free?
Shut up. Next 2 riders on the track, we have Gabrielle in the Brunswick kit and Star Trek Johnny Lewis in the black and white of Anonymous. Gabrielle also having a lot of fun racing here today. She had a big smile on her face earlier. We had a bit of a chat about how much fun she's having, and it's the way that you can get straight to the sprint finish without riding 100k first. Johnny Lewis just tries to duck down underneath, but Gabrielle shuts the door on him pretty hard. She's done this before. Cara, who taught her to race? Johnny trying to move around a little bit and unsettle her, but she's not having a bar of that. Pretty good riding from Gabrielle. She starts to pick the pace up a little bit, not comfortable with that little bit of low speed shenanigans. Let's play this game a bit faster. John takes some height, Gabrielle goes up with him. She's up above the blue trying to protect that line down in the lane and also the run out of turn 4. Johnny Lewis is going to make a jump pretty soon. You can just kind of feel it. Gabriel trying to defend the line into the lane. The bell rings. Neither rider panics. Still not on as we come into turn 1. Someone's going to have to make a move. Where's it going to happen? A real game of chicken at the moment. Gabriel out of the saddle, starts to ramp it up, but stays high. She's been watching this on YouTube, that's for sure. Still the pace not on. 200 metres to go. Johnny Lewis makes the move around the outside. Gabriel's going to have to own the lane if she's to hold him off, and she's doing so far, but Johnny Lewis just sneaks the wheel in front, can drop down into the lane and jump clear. Gabriel rode a pretty smart race up to that point, but just a little bit outgunned there by John. And John, in the end, will win by a few bike lengths. But a good race there from Gabriel. She 15.26 and David 15.8. So 0.4 between these, 0.6 between these two. Merv's favour in qualifying. Merv in the blue and yellow. Dave in the black and yellow, black and white and red of Team Splat. Merv in the A-Box skid suit, guaranteed to make you 1,000,000% faster. Or die trying. The die trying thing is pretty good. Dave at the moment, just letting Merv creep around the outside of him. A little bit vulnerable there. Merv with the advantage of position and a little bit of pace on the track at this point. I don't think it's terribly important as they come out of turn 2, but it can be a little bit of a lesson for the young players there if you're watching this. He makes a move, bang, I don't want to have bar of this anymore. He's gone, he's bolted. And Merv's alert to it, he's got into the draft. This is Dave's standard go-to tactic. He'll often jump from a lap and a half or so. Merv looks like he's fairly comfortable in the slipstream at the moment. Is he going to be able to come past Dave is the question. Looks like he's just closed up onto the wheel. Is he going to have the legs to come around him? Coming into turn 3 now. Merv still parked on Dave's wheel. He hasn't stepped out to try and come past him, and he hasn't laid off him to run at him either. So Dave might be able to hold him off here. He'll be pretty close. But I think Dave got that by the look of it, by half a wheel. I'm sure the commissaires in the middle will confirm that.
I got to keep more of Carl.
5 points for free. Fantastic. And you poor chaps have to listen to more of my yapping. On the track now we have Jared Wilson and Chris Dan. Chris pulled a pedal earlier, much to my benefit. He's tightened his cleats now, and I don't think that's going to happen again. And he's got Jared Wilson sitting hard on his wheel. Jared undefeated so far. He's had a couple of close calls. Chris Jackson gave him a hell of a run for his money in the big scare in the previous round. He only just got it. So on the track now, coming round to get the bell, Chris Dan leading out Jared. Jared's just starting to jump out of the saddle, getting a bit anxious. There he goes, makes the move around the outside. Chris having to respond. Jared with a better power to weight ratio, and he's jumped clear. Chris has got a big gear on, and he's going to have to chase pretty hard to get him back. Can he do it? Jared was about 2/10 faster in qualifying, but Chris with the benefit of the draft to chase. And he's closing in that gap on the back wheel. Is he going to be able to get around Jared here? It's going to be pretty interesting. Chris comes around, Jared and Chris side by side. Oh, this is going to be very close. I can't pick it from here. And we...
Sick.
Maybe either Queensland or Dave.
Interesting race. I'd imagine.
So Britt Jackson and Dave Haas. Dave, former club champion here and veteran of many successful campaigns at Blackburn. Britt, the new breed of female sprinter. She's been watching riders like Emily Appolito come up through the ranks and taking an example from that. David just rolling through in front of Britt at the moment. She wants to defend that position, otherwise David's just going to roll over it coming out of turn 2. But Britt, no stranger to close contact there. She's certainly pushing Dave up into the wall, not giving him much room to move.
Who was your last race against John?
Gabriel.
Oh yeah, that's right, yeah.
You can see Britt on a slightly smaller gear there than Dave by the look of things, just by looking at the cadence as they ride side by side. Not an awful lot of difference. I don't think Dave's on a huge gear. Britt keeping David pressed right up on the wall, not giving him any room. The pace now starting to pick up. Britt's going to need to keep Dave on the hip if she's to be a chance in this, and she's doing a pretty good job of that at the moment, holding him up nicely. Now she drops down into lane. David's going to have to pass her the long way. They're side by side at this point, coming down into turn 3. David with a little bit more speed as he comes around the outside. He's just starting to pull in front of Britt, but Britt's got the advantage of the inside running. And this is going to be fight right to the line, but it looks like David's going to just get that by half a bike.
Well done, guys.
But Britt showing...
David Brockline, Connor Christie.
Two riders now on the track. Connor Christie in the Queensland kit and David Crockney in the blue of Carnegie Caulfield. This will be an interesting little tussle. Connor under 19, David under 17. On this track, you don't really want to try and push a massive gear anyway, so the gearing difference between the two probably won't be huge. Just a guess.
Sprinter. Did you see David's time trial?
Today? Yeah.
Connor new to this track. David also not terribly experienced here. He has done the first 2 rounds of Sprint Series and he makes a move to drop down and takes the lane.
Nice.
He's stolen the mark there on Connor. Connor's going to have to chase him now. And it's on with 300 metres to go. And Connor come around him. He makes a bit of a step fairly early out to try and come past him. He might have wrong-footed himself a little bit there, but he did make himself some room. He's got the draft, comes out, coming around through turn 3. Can he hold himself down in the lane? He's drifting up there and costing himself a bit of distance. So they come around down the finishing straight. Connor and David side by side. And I think maybe Connor got that one. Yeah, Connor just gets over the top of David at the last gasp. The few that have finished and aren't in finals. Sausages are up here. Rob Crockney doing a fantastic job on that. So I'm sure Carnegie will send us the bill for his time. So I'm good mates with their president. It's all good. We've got a pass and everything. Now, we have Luke Daly and Neil Robinson. Neil in the blue and yellow, Luke in the feel-good black and red.
Good race, Chris.
Hey, you too, man. Well done.
Luke qualified 12.7, Neil with 12.5, so 2 tenths between these two in qualifying. Neil a little bit cranky after not winning the last round. Neil needs to make a move around the outside and try and drive the pace up, knowing his style. He's probably on a pretty big gear, knowing Neil.
Yeah.
He likes to push 200 plus gear inches.
Okay. That's a bit much.
To get on top of it too. He's a freakish fella, Neil. Again, Melbourne Warrnambool only a month or so ago, where he won C grade. They found the sandbags in his back pocket. Neil trying to move around the outside, Luke covering him. Neil breaks off to give himself some slipstream to run at. Does it really neatly. He's got to run at Luke's back wheel, and now he comes off the wheel, has come past the pursuit line, coming into turn 3. Neil with a bit more speed as he comes past, and he's not exactly caught on the hip because he's come around the outside of Luke. And the side-by-side out of turn 4, but Neil is going to take that one by a bit over bike length. Neil Robinson.
Whatever.
James Dan said he was going to go and work in a orphanage for us to make the money.
Did I?
Yes, a finish line camera for next summer.
Oh yeah.
Either that or we'll just sell his BT.
You can have it, Carl.
The bits of it to a museum or something like that. Dino keeping a very close eye on Nick. These two riders, Nick in the red helmet, Dino in the blue, otherwise very similar apart from the bike. Same skin suit. Same profile.
Same profile,
Nick with ABOC on his bum, Dino without it.
6 months and it can be either way, Johnny. You have to be a bit careful.
Dino on the black bike, Nick on the white. Dino leading it out. Nick playing a slow jump game against the jump rider. Challenge for him.
Pick it up, Nick. I'm going to want
And
to.
if a rider's on a big gear and is a big strong guy, usually you can guess that they're going to want to go from a long way out and keep the pace high. If they're a little guy on a little gear, they're usually going to want to keep it short. And so that's the way to race it. And also how to pick it. You can see here Dino controlling Nick. He doesn't want Nick to wind it up fast. He wants to keep it slow and maintain control. And he's doing a good job of that at the moment. Nick makes the very first move, but Dino still owns the lane. Nick trying to come around the outside now. And Nick again trying to do a break and run on Dino. Dino just sort of stopping out of the lane there at that point, but I don't think it would have done any great damage to Nick, who's now got the draft. He's charging hard at Dino's back wheel. Dino just started to kick away. Can Nick pull him back? And I think at this point, Dino is going to take that one out, and Nick's going to have to go home without any porridge. But there are sausages, so there's some reward for the racing.
Versus 4.